Sitting near the tree.
Tree.
Sitting near the tree for Christmas.
Hooray!
For Christmas, even though we're a couple of weeks late, but oh well, we're here. We're
Again.
celebrating Christmas, and we are celebrating the Christmas special
of Doctor Who.
Of Doctor Who. And yes, again, I have changed costumes. I am now in Shepherd final form, even though the costume's a little bit tight on me now, so I'm going to have to start to lose weight. Audience, you can check me on that. Right, so...
Know the feeling.
He's pregnant. And mother's got a baby with her as well.
She's G.M.B.F.
This is Sia Reed.
Oh, God.
He's my hot water bottle. And
yes.
he goes everywhere with me.
You may have noticed him in our first review. So, Doctor Who, the 2023 Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road. Quick first impressions, Father.
I enjoyed it. Yet again, I enjoyed it more the second time I saw it than when I first saw it.
Because we've seen it twice now.
I liked the atmosphere and the music at the very beginning. I felt it built up nicely into the story. I felt there was a little too much musical and dancing stuff going on throughout, which is a little bit of a trend, I feel. But I mean, it was good, and this Doctor may have that personality, similarly to Peter Davison played cricket and that sort of stuff, but it may be a little over the top to introduce immediately for the first full episode.
Okay, Mother, so coming off the back of your favourite episode with David Tennant retiring, so we introduced our first proper full episode with Ncuti Gatwa. What do you think so far? First initial reaction?
I liked him. I liked him a lot. Nobody could take David Tennant's place. But as this split in two, and Ncuti is now the Doctor, I think he's a very good start. A very good start.
I like him.
I like the musical bits.
I like the fact that he's a little eccentric, because all the Doctors have been in their own way, and I think he also plays the serious parts with some pathos too.
Yeah.
I thought he portrayed the Doctor very well, but as with all Doctors, it takes you a while to get used to that one.
Yeah. Okay, so me, what did I think of the episode? Again, with the specials, I liked it, but I wasn't enthralled by it. There wasn't anything that really made me go, oh, this is amazing. I thought it was good, and it was great to have Doctor Who back on Christmas again. But aside from the snowy bits and the fact that the new companion was born on Christmas Eve, it doesn't really feel that much of a Christmas special, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I like the new companion, Ruby Sunday. I'm probably old enough to be a dad, but
she's quite nice.
Yeah, that's what I say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always good to have Davina McCall and stuff. And if you didn't catch that, she was in the first series when they did the future version of Big Brother. She had a little voice cameo in that in series 1. So this is technically a returning appearance of a Davina McCall.
Of course.
But yeah, my general opinion on the episode, I liked it. I liked the new companion. I liked her new family. I like her adopted mum. I love the grandma. She's very cheeky. I quite like her. Yeah, always asking for a cup of tea. Who's that sound like to you?
Me.
And only half drinking it.
Me.
Yeah, I in general thoughts, I liked it. So shall we go by on the episode? So the episode actually starts pretty much at the end and then flashes back. So we see the Doctor arrive in the TARDIS to see baby Ruby dropped off at the church, which is where the title comes from. And then it jumps forward to Ruby just about to turn 19 on Davina McCall's programme where she helps people find their parents. And obviously things start to go amiss. There's like accidents. And at first, when I first watched it and I started hearing like giggles, I actually thought it might be connected to the previous episode with the giggle going on. That's what was my initial theory. And then I saw the goblin hand, and that almost disappointed me a teeny bit. Just a teeny bit. But then I thought, no, this is a new start. They have to kind of cut back, I suppose. But then we get on to
a new enemy.
Yeah, a new enemy, and we go back to Ruby's life. We see that her life is full of like flukes, and she's always seems to be clumsy, which I can relate to a lot. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm extremely clumsy, especially when it comes to my body. My body is falling apart, and it's probably mostly because of me being clumsy.
Self-inflicted, yeah.
But yeah, these things go wrong. Then the Doctor randomly shows up and falls himself into her life. We meet him on the dance floor at first, which I suppose you could say is part of this Doctor's personality. But every time we've seen the Doctor dance before, he's always seemed a bit like an awkward dancer, a little bit like
The Doctor dances.
Well, that too. That in the Empty Child and the Doctor dances, but also at Amy and Rory's wedding, he's doing this weird kind of dance. So he's never really been a cool dude dancer. And now we've got Shooty, who is a very attractive young man. So I assume he wants to show off his good looks.
Physique and looks.
Yeah. So then we get onto that. Then Ruby's mum gets a foster child on Christmas Eve that they have to take care of, and that's when the chaos ensues, because all these coincidences of mistakes happening are the goblins coming to get a child to eat, essentially, and
there's no such thing as coincidence.
Yeah, there's no such thing as coincidence, exactly. So I'm gonna have to stretch out my knee a bit. And yeah, that's when we get into the new monsters. So we meet the goblins, we meet the singing goblins, we meet the Goblin King, who actually didn't say anything. The Goblin King was just
noises,
there. Yeah, and I liked the singing choir of the goblins. The one thing I will say is I really, really didn't like the Doctor and Ruby singing. When the goblins are singing, it's kind of, because it's a fantasy element, you expect them to do it. But then, as soon as the Doctor and Ruby start singing, it kind of almost breaks my immersion a little bit of them going, what the hell's going on?
Because they're joining in.
Yeah, and I thought, what the hell? This is a bit strange. But then, again, we move on, they rescue the child, they get back, and then all these cracks start appearing in the ceiling and stuff. And immediately I thought, cracks in time, Series 5, maybe they're connecting something. Again, I was wrong. And everything seems happy and glory and the goblins bugger off, but then suddenly Ruby disappears. And it turns out that
they've somehow managed to find a crack in time.
Yeah, and go back in time.
And steal her as a baby instead.
Because the goblins' technology is through ropes and harnesses. They don't use traditional technology, they use more magic. Because the whole aspect that Russell T Davies is jumping into now is more fantasy based, which I know a lot of people aren't really liking, but to me, I love mixing sci-fi and fantasy. I think it works quite well. I mean, there's a reason sci-fi and fantasy are usually grouped together in subsections of like when libraries and stuff, or even a streaming service. So I think it works in that respect. And the Doctor almost explaining it away that magic is, it's a bit like the first four, how they explain that magic is just science that you don't understand, and I like that. But yeah, the goblins change time, they go back and take Ruby as a baby, and then suddenly Ruby's adopted mum doesn't know her, and she doesn't remember. And the 33 kids that she adopted and fostered before have all disappeared, and she's only done it six times now, and she's
doesn't really like it that much.
She's changed
her personality completely. She just does it for money, and she don't really care about the kids at all.
But the Doctor does say, then why are you crying? And that, for me, I know it probably wasn't intentional, but again, going to the cracks in time was a nice little reference. I don't know if you remember when Rory died and got sucked through a crack in time, there was an episode where the Doctor and Amy met Vincent Van Gogh. And Vincent Van Gogh, because he's an empath, he's like, well, why are you crying?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm not crying, I'm not sad at all. And he's like, why are you crying? It's obviously because she misses Rory, but she doesn't remember Rory.
It's like a bleed through of reality.
And the similar thing happens with Ruby's with Ruby's mum, that she kind of feels sad. And we've lost Mother.
Only temporarily. She's just having a sip.
So the Doctor instantly comes back. Oh, and I forgot to mention he's got these electronic gravity gloves, and that's what.
Or Mavity gloves.
Oh yeah, they can. I'm getting sick and tired of Mavity already. I'm not gonna lie. I hope it doesn't go on forever because it will drive me insane. But yeah. They're introduced quite early, and there's like a almost little Mary Poppins bit where he's holding on to the ladders and kind of floating about like Mary Poppins, which I thought was quite cool.
Yeah.
But they are essentially the Deus Ex Machina of the whole plot, because he uses them to end up destroying the Goblin ship and saving the day in the end and capturing Ruby. But the only thing that I found really annoying is the Doctor gets a chance to follow Ruby's mother, but he never does.
Who's to say he didn't, but you just don't see it?
Well, that's true, because in the beginning speech, he's like, nobody knew who Ruby's mother was until now.
Yeah.
And then it jumps, obviously, to the past storyline. So there is a possibility that the Doctor has already met Ruby's mother, and we don't know it. And then, obviously, time gets reverted back, Ruby comes back to life, and the Doctor saves Davina McCall from the falling Christmas tree, which I actually thought it'd be quite funny if they killed off Davina McCall. Don't get me wrong, I love Davina McCall, but I thought it'd be quite funny if they did actually kill her off. But yeah, just as the Doctor's about to leave, obviously Ruby goes, oh yes, gotta find him. Then she does the usual, opens the door, goes in, comes out and does the turnaround. And unlike what Russell T Davies said in his visual commentary, she is not the first person to do it since Rose. Clara did it in the first Christmas special she was in, and technically that wasn't Clara, it was one of her split-off personalities.
Yeah, it's still.
And she
Clara
says it's smaller on the outside, and then Matt Smith goes, well, that's new for me.
Yeah.
So, you lie, Russell T Davies. Naughty you need to do your research. But aside from that, I loved it. Trailer for the next series.
We haven't mentioned the
Mrs.
recurring character.
Mrs. Flood.
Very nicely played by Anita Dobson.
Yeah, Mrs. Flood.
And the fact that
And
there's something about
post-credit scene. The post-credit scene where she says, what? Have you never seen a
TARDIS?
Have you never seen a TARDIS before? So again, we've got this mystery box storytelling that Russell T Davies is quite fond of. He likes putting a mystery in and then slowly getting to it.
It's going to be a slow, smouldering storyline, I think.
But I'm already hearing rumours that Russell, Shooty and Millie Gibson are only sticking around for 2 series. So I hope this is all wrapped up, and we've got to think the first and second series are only going to be 8 episodes each. So it's not like we're going to be back in the day where we had 13 episodes a year, and now we're only down to 8. And yes, there'll be higher quality production-wise, but sometimes Doctor Who had to rely on its story more because of the budget. So part of me worries, because they've got more budget, they might focus less on the story and more on the special effects. Because that was always one of the benefits of Doctor Who, was because it had such a limited budget, it had to be creative with the storytelling to get with it. I mean, speaking from experience of what we've had to do, you know, you have to play with the dice you're dealt. And now, because they've had this massive boost with Disney, and it's been confirmed, by the way, that's the scene I haven't mentioned with the policeman. With the policeman, where he says, oh, you've got a wedding ring. I loved that scene, by the way. I thought it was great. But the whole bit with the snowman falling on Ncuti Gatwa was a note from Disney. So everybody going on that Disney isn't involved in the creative process, I'm sorry to say that they are a little bit
fibbing.
So it is a bit worrying, considering the quality of Lucasfilm and Marvel. in the recent years. But aside from that, I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was.
Enjoyed it.
I didn't think it was balls to the wall amazing, but it was an interesting start, and I think, even though it's the Christmas special, it should have been the first episode of Series 1, almost. Because, say for instance, you're watching Series 1, and you're going to go, well, who's the Doctor, who's the new companion? Because you got to think, in America, these are the first episodes that are airing on Disney+. Everywhere else, aside from us that have got it on BBC, and we've got the whole catalogue, we've got all the classic Who, New Who, whatever this new version of Doctor Who's called. We've got Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood, Canine and Company, Class, and all the other spin-offs. Whereas Disney Plus has literally got the free specials, the Christmas special, and whatever comes next. So you got to think, America and everywhere else is missing out.
All the history.
Exactly.
You've elbowed me about 6 times.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You know what I'm like when I get excited. I talk and I move my hands a lot.
Let Mummy speak.
Yes. Any last thoughts, Mother?
Well, you've tried to get out of bed for this. Recurrent sinus infection. I thought it was very good, especially as they've said on the second viewing through. I got things that I missed on the first run through, and no, I hadn't had a drink on Christmas Day, so that's no excuse. But in all honesty, yeah, I think he's a great Doctor, potentially. I think potentially he is going to be a good Doctor. I like the companion.
And Faja, any last thoughts?
Or continue on about the policeman and the ring that you love.
Oh, because there's something in that scene that I hated. The new sonic screwdriver.
Oh right. Yeah.
I cannot stand it. After we had that amazing design that David Tennant just had with the 14th Doctor sonic screwdriver,
I nearly bought it on for Christmas.
to get this bloody click remote control from the Adam Sandler film, it looks ridiculous. But aside from that, the scene was great where he meets the policeman. He's like, "Oh, you've bought this diamond ring." She's going to say yes. That scene was great.
I like.
But aside from that, Lance, you're going to dodge the camera over. Get off. See, now our cats are being a pain in the arse. Oi, you. It's mate being a pain. So back.
Well, I think that's about everything I have to say.
Yes.
I don't know, is there anything you want to say to wind it up
Me?
before we go? Mummy wouldn't wish to say anything else?
No, just very happy New Year to you. I can't believe we're 2024.
I know, it's a bit crazy, isn't it?
Makes you feel old.
But, right, some of us feel older than others.
Well, are we done?
I believe we're done.
Okay then, bye-bye again.
Bye-bye.
We'll be back soon.
As this is a Christmas special, we wish you all, hope you had a happy Christmas and happy New Year. Obviously this is coming out a bit late because of my health. Because
we've got a few more little bits coming out soon.
There's going to be a short mini video we're going to release just after this, and we're literally going to film it after this. I've just got to do a costume change. But aside from that, it's bye-bye for now on this video.
We've got the NickeRMel January update.
Yes, but I've got to release the New Year's update up first, which is about an hour long.
Yeah, sure.
So we won't talk about that in this video. So yes, that is it for this review, unless you two have got any teeny little bits to add.
I'm done.
We're done, we're done.
I might retire back to bed now.
We're done. No, you're not. We've got one more video to do, so you're not allowed to. Right, bye. Thank you very much for joining us on this tour. This grand Doctor Who tour. Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.